Guys, I will go ahead and pin our guest of honor, Miss Cathy Maxwell, up here with me. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's always good to see you all.
I'm so glad you could join us tonight. You look beautiful.
Well, it's hard because I've had a good time when I've gone to boas and tiaras and readers and margaritas and different things, and I was thinking about how the pandemic has just put a halt to everything. And yet we're meeting each other online. I mean, today we had people from one coast to the other. So it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's, I don't want to say painful because I think we're just used to it at this point, but it is just very heartbreaking to still have to say we're still here in this situation. But I love that we get to have the silver lining of getting to connect with authors and still being able to see you, even if we can't give you a hug in person.
Yes, exactly. And this allows so many of us to be able to gather for these sorts of things. So, Zoom is here to stay.
Yep.
I mean, I'm really loving it. So, connecting with people.
Well, Cathy, as you heard, for a few of our listeners or readers that are joining us tonight, many of them are very well versed with you, but we do have a few new ones. So I'm just going to do a little bit, just a little bit of an introduction for you. If you don't mind telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got started writing.
Ooh, well, you really put me on the spot because
I know.
Usually I don't have to answer that question anymore. It's been so long because next year's my 30th year writing romance. I started in 1992, and I had always wanted to write a book, but I didn't know what I wanted to write. And it was when I read Fairest Eden by Jennifer Blake. I say some of these names and I know that people have no idea who I'm talking about. Teresa Kleeman knows who I'm talking about. I mean, there are people here who do, but that book fired my imagination. And I thought, this is what I want to write. And then I went in and I told my husband, okay, I'm going to write a book. And he was like, well, that's nice, Cathy. You go ahead and do it. What's for dinner tonight? Oh, I just noticed how crazy my office looks. Well, there you have it.
No, I love it. It looks worked in.
Well, I tried to clean it and I didn't get far, but that's a story that Terry can tell about when we shared rooms. Now you know who was Oscar. And so I started writing, and 30 years ago, my first book was published in 1994, and that was All Things Beautiful. I was living in Virginia at the time, and I was there, for 28 years of my life, I was in Virginia. But originally, I'm from Kansas. I am a Midwestern person through and through. And I think that kind of comes through in the books because there's this worldview that we have of a sense of community. And this is the way people help each other. And this is sort of stuff they ought to do.
Just woven right in there.
Right. And see, now I'm living in Texas. I moved to Texas about 5 years ago. And I would say the difference is, and Samantha and all you Texans can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd say the difference between my worldview, if I had been raised in Texas, we would have shot first and asked questions later. It would have been more feisty book than what we had before. So, but my worldview is that of a Midwestern person. And I spent a lot of time on the East Coast writing. And then here I am over here.
Yeah. Well, and I have to ask, I just have to talk about Tess, your new pupper.
Yes, my new pupper. In fact, I'm outnumbered by dogs right now because my son's dog has come to visit. So Tess is very diligent. Tess is a Catahoula mix. I don't know if anybody knows, but they're supposedly, Gwen's the one that told me, they're a Louisiana breed and they're supposed to climb trees. Now Tess has not climbed a tree yet.
Not yet.
But boy, can she point out a rabbit. She sees a rabbit and she's on it. So yes, I'm definitely in the world. I saw someone had a cat. And I do love cats, but my number one, I'm a huge fan of dogs. I just love dogs. Yes.
I love it so much. Cathy, what does your writing day look like?
Oh, it's a mess. I'm trying to change it. I think that one of the things I've tried to do throughout my whole career is organize my writing day. But the truth of the matter is, when I started writing, I had young children. My youngest was 3 years old when I started. And it's interesting, we used to have a critique group as a group of writers that get together and they read each other's work. So I was in this critique group with Donna Whitfield and Sherry Kenyon, Sherry McQueen now. it was, I have memories of my 3-year-old sitting in Sherry's lap, because she always sat on the floor, because that's her style.
Mhm.
And she had long dark hair, and my little one would just sit there while Sherry's reading. My little one would be pulling at her hair like, oh, this is the nicest hair in the world, and everything else. So it's always been like working around children. Well, all my children are now in their 30s. I don't have to work around. I shouldn't have to work around them. Sarah, we can compare notes on having children who are adults, because, there's still, I don't feel like I'm mothering anymore, but I still feel this wonderful bond with these people, and I'm always intrigued at what they're going to go off and they're going to do.
Yeah.
So just recently, I tried to organize my life, because before I was procrastinating. My life was nothing but procrastination. So I'm trying to be more focused, so that, because now we writers, we have to do social media, we have to write blog posts, we have to write advertising. The publisher will send out the back cover copy and say, what do you think of this? And I think, well, this isn't the book. This isn't what I want. And I think my editor's on to me, because I'm a pretty good copywriter. And so she's like, oh, a boy and a girl meet. Cathy, what do you think of this? And I'm like, oh, no,
I'll fix it.
We have a lot of different things that we do. Plus, we have to go to the grocery store and do laundry. And just like every other working person out there in the world. But yeah.
So what's one new productivity thing that you've added to help you achieve your goals?
My daughter-in-law is a professional organizer.
Wow, that's good to have in the pocket.
That is really good to have. And I was complaining to her. I said, I feel like I'm working all the time and I'm not enjoying it. And she goes, well, why don't I organize your time? And I said, oh, no. And she goes, no, it's just a matter of organizing. So we sat down a couple of weeks ago. And I think that if you're trying to organize your time, I think it's better to bring in an outsider, because this sounds so simple. Everybody's going to say, oh, I can do this. But the truth of the matter is that we don't do it. We always break our own pacts with ourselves. Absolutely. So she sat down with me. She goes, how many hours a week do you want to work? And I said, well, I've got this, 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 and this. And she goes, no, I didn't ask you that. How many hours a week do you want to work? And I have been the most productive I ever have been, because I now have lots of free time. Before it was just like, oh, I've got to sit at my desk. And now it's like, I take Saturday and Sundays off. Nice. Which Saturday and Sunday is a big work day for writers, because you go to bookstores, you go to different places, you go to fresh fiction conferences. But it's just been revolutionary. And so a friend of mine tried it, but she tried to do it herself. And so I think the secret is bringing in someone from the outside. Maybe there's more accountability. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, because I think maybe she helped you also sort of break through the excuses you were giving yourself.
Well, I still have those excuses, Gwen.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Never give up. But she sat down and said, okay, you're going to do an hour for social media. So go out and take the pictures and do that sort of thing. Whereas before, I was trying to, instead of saying, this is part of your job, do it. Just do it. So, so that's there. Yeah.
I love it. That's so great. I mean, I love productivity stuff, and tips like that are just, as we're all just trying to figure out our lives every day. Every day I start my day going,
especially those of us who juggle a lot of different balls, in the air. And we're all we're in the entertainment industry here. And I mean, you have to have time to go and take a shower. I mean, sometimes that's really,
sometimes you got to put that on
deadline.
there.
It's like, oh no, when was the last time? Yeah.
Like, have I eaten today? I don't remember.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll just keep going.
No, I never miss a meal. No.
That's fair. As I'm eating a cookie right next to us in between, I'm like, oh, here's a snack. Well, I want to go back to your sister Terry's comment about the ghosts. And I just want to know, what do you think of ghosts? It's just kind of a broad question.
That is a really broad question. And I'll tell you, I have gone down the rabbit hole of supernatural.
Ooh,
and I am like, it is a commitment to watch this. And so now suddenly I'm noticing news articles where people disappear all the time. And I think, is it Eric Ripke, the name
Kripke?
Tripke? Is that the name of the writer?
It's Kripke with a K.
Kripke. I think he's a genius. I think he's a storytelling genius, because just the way he layers it and everything else. So now I'm noticing news articles where people disappear, or this person caught on fire and I thought, this man, he must have been noticing this. Well, my son-in-law just got a job working with the Park Service. So his first day, he was shooting pictures of a 5-mile hike he took and everything. And I'm like, and he even went to a supernatural convention. He's cool. Huge. And I said, that's where the vampire layers are. You realize that in these places. And he goes, I'm so psyched. So yeah, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, especially being here in Austin, because the 2 leads are out of Austin, and yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I love it so much. That's so fun. Cathy, what is your favorite trope to read?
Oh, that's hard. I think Marriage of Convenience, and I also like the Beauty and the Beast trope. And I like seeing all the different ways. You were asking earlier about books that people read. I'm reading The Perfect Find by Tia Williams. It's really, really fun because she is a fashion editor. So it's got all the inside little tidbits. I love a book that gives me a new world. And so, just having all of that's coming to, and I thought, this is a Cinderella story, but with a middle-aged woman. What more could I ask for? What
Absolutely.
more? Yes. So I think I like any story in which the woman is the driver in her own life. Absolutely. And there's many books in which the woman has absolutely nothing to say or to do, but I like it when there's strong female characters.
Awesome. Well, and on the flip side of that, what is your favorite trope to write? And what was your favorite book that you got to use that trope in?
No, that's really hard. Yeah.
Or you can give me a few. Don't feel limited.
I think one of the ones I like is the Enemy to Lovers, because you can really do a lot of wisecracking.
Yeah.
In the course of this, when you pit these people together. And so I enjoy that. And the book, I just did that in the 3rd book of the Logical Men's series that's coming out. It's going to be Mars's story. And of course, we have to put Mars, who doesn't really he likes women in their place, but he doesn't really, he doesn't want to hear them talk.
Sure.
Yeah, unless they're a friend, and then little bits, this sort of thing. And so finally, and he finds himself where he has to depend upon a woman, and he has to listen to her, and he hates every single moment of it. So, so I think that's perhaps my favorite to write. Yeah, because you can really go all out.
Well, and it's so fun, and it gives you an opportunity, because you are so good with dialogue and with that character banter. Like, it gives you that opportunity to really dig into it and get juicy with it.
Yeah, thank you. But the authors I really admire are the ones that can really write sarcastic characters. The ones with the quips. I've never been a quipper, and so I always sit there and think, I love a good quip. I like a good character that does that. So.
Awesome. What is a genre that you never want to read again?
A genre I never want to read again? I don't think there's a genre that I never want to read again. There are books that go into subjects I never want to read again. Okay. I don't like books where animals are abused. I just don't. No, absolutely not. I want all the children to be happy, healthy, and sane. I don't like children being kidnapped. I've come across mysteries by well-known mystery writers, but they say, little Sue was thrown into a trunk and buried alive. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that.
Not for you.
So I think but I love the mysteries. I'll read almost anything. In fact, I was reading the book that Terry had recommended, Sapiens. I like a lot of nonfiction too.
Yeah, well, that's actually a great segue in talking about what else you've been reading. You gave us one book. Is there any other things that you've read recently that you'd like to recommend to the group?
Oh my gosh. Hannah Khan Carries On.
Oh, okay.
Uma Jaludin. I hope I haven't killed her name. That book just excited me. Again, it's about a world I didn't know. Hannah is a young modern Muslim woman in Toronto. And cool. I've been to Toronto, but I knew very little about it. And she lives in the crescent of Toronto, which is kind of the Muslim community. And not only that, but Hannah is religious, which I thought was very interesting. You know, so often in a lot of books, we kind of just don't even play with that. But I think it was very important to the author that she shows Hannah in a realistic manner. And I will say it's a delightful, fun romance, but they don't pull any punches. They don't, the author doesn't pull any punches. She talks about racism. She talks about trying to do the right thing and having it blow up in your face. And at the same time, there's a wonderful romance in there. So Hannah Khan Carries On. And I can't remember the name of her first book. In fact, what is that that movie with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and she's a bookseller.
You've Got Mail?
Yes. Hannah Khan Carries On has that You've Got Mail theme.
Oh, that's my catnip. That's my favorite.
Yes. Oh, really? Yeah. See, that was, that it just really, it made me so happy because she writes a blog and she has a commenter who keeps coming in, and it's just well done. It's a wonderful read. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. What is your favorite writing fuel?
Coffee.
How do you take your coffee?
I take it with almond milk.
Oh,
yes, because that way I don't feel like I'm having cream and I can have as much as I want.
Yes, I love that.
I think coffee is, the drink of the gods. I can't imagine living without coffee. That's the one thing I won't give up. They keep saying, okay, you need to give this up. No, we're not giving up coffee.
No, it's impossible. I had to give it up for a couple of years because I had acid reflux and needed to work on that and not die.
So are you back?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, as you said, it's the fuel of the gods. Like you needed it in life. It's part of my blood.
Yeah. Well, so I was in the Navy. That, I spent 6 years in the United States Navy. And so, you had to drink coffee. There wasn't anything else to drink, nothing. Yes.
So Cathy, since you do have a new book coming up, and I know you're probably working on something else, what are some things that you do to distract yourself when you're supposed to be writing?
I am a news hound. My first job was in television news. And so cool. I will follow a story down the rabbit trail. I will be I'm one of those at the Washington Post that comments at the bottom. It says, and especially if I say something really pithy and quick and people like it, my day of May, I am just so happy. I am so happy. And if they don't like it, I'm defeated. I just can't even imagine. And I can remember one time a teacher I had, he had a letter printed in Time magazine back when they were printing letters to the editor and everything. And he was like a celebrity in town. Everybody, it was Mr. Compton, Terry, in case you're wondering. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love that. I was reading an article the other day about a young adult author who was trying to reinvigorate his creative juice. That sounds so gross, the way I said that, creative juices. And what he did was he started writing fake Dear Prudence and Dear Abby letters to Slate. Yeah. And then learned how to manipulate the system and he talked about how the ones when they wouldn't take it, he would be devastated, or the ones that they would edit. He was like, that's not the story I was trying to tell.
This is really, but think about it. He's spending all this energy going down this rabbit hole. And and I will tell you, the other thing is my kids gave me a Switch for my birthday.
Nice.
With Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, that's addictive.
Which I would never have thought could be, but it's my mellow time. It plays that little music. I go pick up little seashells. I arrange my hair. I plant flowers. I pick pumpkins.
It's so lovely.
I know. I'm just like, this is worth every single cent. That was spent on it. So yeah, I have to watch it between that. So I watch, yeah, really. I sound exciting. At lunch, I watch Supernatural and I play Animal Crossing. And I don't know what I'm going to do when I hit the end of the 15th season. So
yeah, maybe rewatch it.
I thought about that.
Yeah, you could see that way. You'll be like, oh, I'll see the things that I missed the first time.
Yeah, well, my son-in-law has already said there's going to be a fan convention in the DC area. And he said, he goes, oh, we should go. We should go. But this next summer, if they have ComicCon, I'm going to ComicCon in San Diego. So,
oh man, have you been before?
I have been before, and it is, it's just the best, just the best. To see these guys, big guys that haven't moved in months, running to get in line for Funko characters, to see people with the costumes. What I love is when like one Spider-Man comes across another Spider-Man and they don't know each other, but they have to stop and compare.
And they do that, like they actually turn into the Spider-Man meme of pointing at each other.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I just love it. I love it. It's so much fun. It was so much fun.
Did you dress up? Would you entertain?
I dressed up as Cathy Maxwell, the author. That's who I was. And I will say that, I've been to lots of book conferences and different things, but I had more recognition at ComicCon because, we're in a booth and people would go by and say, oh, Cathy Maxwell. And I'm like, they saw me. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was fun because people who go to ComicCon love story, just like the people who go to Fresh Fiction love story. Everybody in this room is all about story.
Yep.
And each of us has our own stories that are our favorites, but it is all about imagination and story.
That's so true. And that's like, it's just so nice finding your tribe of people that you can talk to about all that stuff too.
Oh, are you kidding? This son-in-law who's into cons? I mean, he can't wait to go to Comic-Con. I don't know. He's going to dress full out. He's going to go full out.
Yeah, I bet.
And my daughter's going to be right there with him. So
the good thing is if he's got like a headpiece, it'll be work as a mask as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. I don't know what they're going to do. It'll be interesting to see.
So what's one thing that you're looking forward to this fall?
Ooh, this fall. This is really, well, I'm working on putting together, making sure that I follow this plan that I've started. That's making me very happy. I am going to take a trip east and watch one of my daughters put on her lieutenant commander stripe.
Cool. That's so
exciting. Cool. That's very cool. Yes. So she's in the Coast Guard, and that's really what I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be beautiful. And the hopefully the leaves will still be a little changed so you can enjoy them.
Right. Yes, but it'll be so nice to be back there where it's a little cooler. Although Texas has been very cool. And I love Texas when we have cool evenings and hot days. I just think that's the best.
Yeah. Oh, Texas. I love Rochelle said, say what? She doesn't know anything about that. All right. So, do you listen to music while you write, Cathy? I'm not sure if I know that about you.
No, I'm very quiet.
You're very quiet.
I like silence when I write. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I won't ask you that question. What is the best advice you've ever received, either writing or personal?
Don't take yourself too seriously. Because that seems, and the other thing, years ago, I was in sales and I had a sales manager who gave great advice. He said, you have to let the other person do some business. And, oftentimes you'll hear, a rising tide raises all ships, that sort of thing. So it's very freeing to realize that that we're all in this together. Everybody's going to get some recognition at some point for what they're doing, and that it's more about embracing the spirit of what we do. I love the romance genre because it's all about relationships. And it seems that's only right that we live those relationships. And we actually like each other, to be honest. I mean, we really do like each other for the most part. Every once in a while, someone comes along that's a little too, hairy, because it's the entertainment industry. But for the most part, we have a good time when we go out. And I've really enjoyed that.
I love that. Well, I want to make sure our readers have lots of time to ask you their questions. But before we end the recorded portion, Cathy, how can readers stay in touch with you and find out more about you?
You know what? I think I'm the easiest person to find. You can always find me, Cathy, at cathymaxwell.com. Also, I'm on Facebook, and I don't do Twitter that much, so it's a waste of time to try to do that. But if you tweet something about me, I appreciate it, because I'm not going to do it. But I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I am trying TikTok. Oh, please, someone kill me now. But mainly my main thing is Facebook and Instagram, and it's Maxwell Cathy. Because people say, I wrote to you. There's a Cathy Maxwell, but it's not me. So it's Maxwell Cathy. And I'm always looking to have people, to touch base with people. Also, and that's really nice of you to ask that question, because one of the things is that I have this sticker. This is a vinyl sticker. It was designed by my son. And if I had my way, I would have this on every computer and on every bumper in this country. The idea of reading is so strong for me. And so if you would like to have one, just go to Cathy at cathymaxwell.com. Just send me your mailing address. I do not keep them. It's strictly to put something in the mail and get it to you. And I would love to give you one. And I've had mine on my car now for 2 years, and it still looks good. So please, I hope people will do that.
Awesome. Well, Cathy, thank you so much. And she's going to stay with us, guys, for some questions.
Thanks a lot, Gwen. I appreciate y'all.
Always the best, Cathy.